Welcome back to the Delusionals podcast, your home of deluded football takes. Today, we're actually going to be going over the results from the weekend. We're going to be having a look at that crazy Man U Liverpool result as well. And obviously Leeds Chelsea as well. That was a crazy one as well, wasn't it? How you doing, Josh? You right?
Not bad, man. Not bad at all. Exciting week of fixtures and Arsenal top of the table.
What's going on there? Oh, mate, we never would have. I don't think even you would have called that at the start of the season.
I wouldn't have called it at the start of the season, but if we go back to sort of the preseason, first one of the season, it was an exciting preseason for us. We were excited with the signings, and they look like they're paying off. And the value for money just seems almost ridiculous. And we're only 3 games in. Jesus for 45, and United looking at sort of Anthony's for 80, but Odegaard 35.
Jesus, I think, is going to be like signing of the season. He's just ridiculous. But anyway, we're not an Arsenal podcast. So we're not getting onto that. So first, I suppose, shall we talk about probably the biggest story of the weekend? Would you say that's last night, Man U Liverpool? Or would you say it's Leeds Chelsea?
Could be either or. Let's start United. It's the most recent one. Let's start United last night. That was a very good game for United. I mean, they showed out. They turned up. They looked like they were ready for it. You can't really say anything other than they outplayed Liverpool. They just outplayed them almost in every asset of the game.
Was it good United or was it poor Liverpool?
It was a mixture of both. I think United looked better than they have done the first sort of 2 other games of the season, which wasn't that hard for them, I know. But they dropped Maguire, they dropped Ronaldo. The team looks like they clicked fairly well. They look like they wanted to be there. I mean, against Brentford, they didn't look like they want to be there.
I'll tell you
this
what,
is the first time they've shown up. So for me, anyway.
If they didn't want to be there against Liverpool, then they've got serious problems. So I'd kind of maybe say that actually. I think they were good. I think Liverpool were particularly bad. They are massively missing Mane. They've got no drive in the midfield. Their wing backs
they look shaky defensively. Their wing backs are getting caught out all the time.
So high up the pitch. What Van Dijk was doing for that first goal, I have absolutely no idea. He looked like a figure skater. He looked like a speed skater. He was like hands behind his back. He was like, so I was like, "What are you doing, mate? Go to the ball."
I heard Madame Tussauds was doing a waxwork of him soon, so maybe he was just trying to get posed.
It was that was baffling, if I'm honest. But it was nice build-up play from Man U. Lovely to see Sancho get on the score sheet and Rashford as well. Obviously, he hasn't scored since January, I think it was.
And he looked good. He almost got another as well. He almost curled one in, right-footed, almost turned it around the post. It was a good save. Yeah, no, he looked good. That's good.
What's your thoughts on Man U this season? Do you think this whole thing earlier in the season's kind of like all too much too early, or
it's always that with football? I mean, we saw it with Arsenal last year. Like the second that you sort of have a rough start, 2-3 games, and you go bottom of the table, the media immediately are on you. And I don't know if you've seen the Arsenal or nothing. There's a moment in it where Arteta says there's something in sort of English football that's only really felt in English football, and it's the media and the fans can take you one day from here, and the next day you're here. Said they can just destroy you. My personal thoughts on United are I think there's some problems in the dressing room. I think Ronaldo's caused problems. Not because he's one of the goats, right? He's still going to get you goals, but I think in terms of the way the team works together, he's hard to play around. And it was shown sort of in his sort of second years at Juventus. I think that they kind of need to go through a little bit of a mentality change. I feel like the dressing room feels a little bit fractured. There's really good players in there, and I think there's a core there that they can build off of. But they need to get rid of a couple of the guys that sort of aren't in that picture. And that takes time. That takes a long time. It's a 2-3 year process. The manager needs to get the right mindset, and they need to back the manager. If the manager, they think he's the guy to change that mindset and get them playing his brand of football, they have to wait for that to happen. You can't sack him after 3-4 games, and the fans would have been calling for his head, some of them. So I think they've got a long process to come. I think they're going to be in the mix for a European spot this year. I don't know which one, but I think they're going to be in the mix. I don't think it'll be Champions League, but I think they're in the mix. Definitely going to get one of those Europa spots. And I think they're going to improve because I think Ten Hag's a good manager, and there's a core of players there that I think are pretty good. So they just got to stick with the process and trust him. Because it's going to be a couple of years.
They've actually got more squad depth than you think. I remember when I was looking at the bench yesterday, and I was like, Martial, there was Van der Beek obviously came on, there was Ronaldo on the bench, there was Maguire on the bench.
I was like, yeah.
actually their squad is just their squad should not be losing to Brentford and those kind of teams.
No. And they're adding more. They're adding 80 to 100 mil for Anthony's coming in. They've just spent 70 mil on Casemiro, 200k, 300k.
Hang on, sorry, they've got another. Who are they coming in now?
Anthony, the winger from Ajax, 100 mil.
What?
They put a bid in for 80 and they rejected it and said they want 100 and United are willing to pay.
Oh my days! Wow.
So but they've just had Sancho. They got Sancho, Rashford, Martial, Ronaldo. Now they're adding Anthony, another winger to that mix. But can you buy a 100 million player and not play him?
I don't know. I mean,
you're going to have to come into the rotation, but you've just spent 100 on Sancho.
And are they going to keep Ronaldo on how many hundreds of thousands a week he's on?
Well, we might be about a week away from this this special press conference that he's arranged, aren't we? We're about a week out from that now. Have you heard about this?
Is he?
He said in 2 weeks. This was when all the beef was happening sort of after the Brentford game, and Ronaldo came out and said, in 2 weeks' time, I'll tell you the story. And he's got a Sky Sports interview.
We'll be doing a podcast after that, won't we? Sure.
And but then there was an interview organised between Ten Hag and Neville and Carragher, and they're talking to him, and he's like, they ask him about the Ronaldo thing, and he's like, he's saying different things to us at the team. He's like, I don't know what he's trying to get out of this interview or this whatever this is. He's like, he's saying different things to us. So is it one thing to the public to make him feel like he's hard done by, and another thing to the team?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if you told me Ronaldo was a drama queen. So
there's so much politics going on at Man U. I think just like on the field, off the field, players, owners, manager stuff.
This is why I've got too much going on.
I think the problem is that it's also like just massively taking all the focus off the actual on pitch like happenings. So like obviously they beat Liverpool, but you don't come off the back of a 4-0 defeat to Brentford, beat Liverpool, and everything's just fine and dandy. So it'll be interesting to see, how they get on. I believe next week or this weekend they've got Southampton away. Not the easiest thing. They've just beaten. They just won 2-1, didn't they? Against, was it Leicester? Yeah, they just beat Leicester 2-1. So that's not going to be the easiest game for them. So that'll be an interesting game. But yeah, I find Man U very, very odd. I can't. I basically kind of. I think they're the most unpredictable team in the league this season. I have absolutely no idea.
One of those ones where they've got the quality, that they can be something, but there's problems going on there. You just can't put your finger on what the actual sort of problem is. And this is why I think that they're going to be in the mix, but they're not going to be sort of at that top end. And I think that it's going to take them a while to find out specifically who the problem people are. And as I said, it's a process. I hate to keep coming back to Arsenal, but it's the same rebuild that they went through. Like we had to get rid of toxic, overpaid old players that didn't want to be in the club anymore. We kept spending loads of money. Kolasinac on 100k a week, Socrates on 100k a week, Holding on 70, 80k a week. Callum Chambers was on about 80k a week.
Holding's still there though, right?
Holding's still there, and Holding's still in our plans of being a squad player. When you were saying about the Villa links, I didn't think we'd get rid of him because I think he's one of our main backup guys. But it's that same rebuild, and it took us 2 or 3 managers to find it, and it's taken us a few years to get the right players in. And this is the first year we're seeing Arteta's full squad. We trusted the process, and here we are.
They say it's cycles, right? Like as in Man U have had so much success for so long with obviously an amazing manager and an amazing football director or whatever it was back then. And then it's kind of like big cycle in that they're now hitting the point where Liverpool and Man City and all that were before. And now they're kind of having to do their rebuild. And it happens all the time because Man City are very good at managing to rebuild whilst maintaining that level. So, getting rid of Jesus, getting rid of Sterling, and all these different, and there's going to be more players that are going to be let go. I mean, there was also stuff about, I think there was rumors about Silva a little while back as well. It's like, Barcelona. Yeah, exactly. So with those players going, they're such big players for them, but they seem to have this all planned out, or they've got like a youngster coming through, or they've got a big backup.
They've got a replacement. Their depth is fantastic, and that's why they win the league so much, because their second team, most players in their second team start at almost every other Premier League club. Yeah, like they have that level of depth.
I mean, the fact that Jack Grealish just sits on the bench is pretty baffling.
What team in the Prem does he not start on?
None,
right?
Yeah. Well, they just sold Sterling and Jesus as well. So it's like, what teams do they not start in?
Yeah, literally. Literally,
It's pretty insane.
it's league winning.
But back onto Man U with Maguire. Do you think he's lost his place? Do you think that's him out? Or do you think it was just the fact that they wanted a bit of pace and a bit more mobility with Varane?
It's tough to say until kind of the next couple of games. I think there's sort of problems in that defence that might not just be Maguire's fault, but I don't think he's been particularly good. I mean, the memes don't come out because he's been playing great, right? He's been a little bit suspect. So, I mean, just rotate, see what you get, right? It clearly wasn't working for them at the start of the season. They got destroyed sort of defensively in both games, and make the changes, and they looked much more solid on defence and against a much better attacking team who had an off day, but they are a better caliber of player, and they look better. So, yeah,
Do you think that if he kind of loses his place in the starting, we were talking about this last night, but do you think if he loses his place in the starting 11 that his England place is under scrutiny?
It might be in terms of like the volume of games that he plays, because he's not going to play much in the Prem, but he's been good for England. I think Southgate.
Yeah, no, he has.
That. It's a different type of football. One of the things that like Southgate's tried to specialise in specifically is winning tournament football. It's to do with winning a certain amount of games in a short period of time over like X amount of days, and they like try and become specialists in that rather than like putting together tactics for a team and like you would manage a Premier League season. And they might think that he's perfect for that style of football. Bring him in, he plays 2 or 3 games, helps you on the defence. Then you switch someone else out, put them in, because it's a run of games over a short period of time. So I think you kind of got to. I don't personally know what they look for when they look for tournament football players, but you might have to look at it he might be coming at it from a completely different angle, and it's not to do with his like specifically his performances on field for United, but his traits and his characteristics are perfect for tournament football.
Yeah, but I don't know. Southgate's always said before, right? If you're not playing for your club, then I'm not going to pick you to start for England. And I think that's the key. And that's why there's been so many moves, right? There's been so many moves this summer from players who want to play.
They want to start,
Sterling, Cody. There was who else has moved? There's been other movements.
Yeah.
So and it's mainly because these players want to play because they want to be able to be in that England team. And yeah, I feel like if Maguire isn't playing for Man U, then
it will hurt him. It will hurt him, but he could still be a squad player in that team.
A squad, yeah.
But yeah, possibly loses his starting spot. Yeah,
he is very good for England. You're right. Like he is an absolute rock.
Look at the last 2 tournaments, right? We've been some of the best defence in the whole tournament, and we've gone to a final and a semi-final in back-to-back competitions. And the squad looks like it's getting better, and will continue to for the next 3 or 4 tournaments. Like we're looking good. We're in a good spot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh God, the World Cups. I can't even think about the World Cup right now.
No.
Okay. Well, let's probably get on to the next big talking point from the weekend, which is probably Leeds Chelsea.
Yeah. Did you watch the game? Did you see it?
I didn't see it. No. I listened to it on the radio, and it sounded insane. It sounded like Leeds were basically just harassing them.
It was Leeds domination from the first whistle. It was Leeds absolute domination.
What's that about, though? Chelsea have looked strong.
And then just die.
Leeds are one of those teams with that, and I know Tuchel came out afterwards and said, "Oh, it's nothing to do with the style of play, blah blah blah. Leeds didn't catch us off guard. We knew what they were going to do." Leeds are that kind of team where some teams just cannot deal with the way they play. If they play with the hunger and the energy that they can do, some teams just cannot deal with it.
They got outworked, and like the stats for Chelsea were they dominated possession. They had sort of 62% possession. They had more shots, but they just never actually looked like they had a chance. Really, they were all kind of outside the box shots. But Leeds were clinical. They were aggressive. They played very, very well, and they simply outworked them. They ran like 15k more than them. They covered like a lot of ground more than them.
I can't stand Leeds.
It was the same story of Brentford and United. They just ran more. They worked harder. They covered 13k more, and Ten Hag made the United team run 13k at the end of training.
Yeah.
It was just they turned up and they wanted it, and Chelsea couldn't handle them. They were clinical, and
it'll be interesting to see how that kind of like whether that springboards Leeds season. I mean, they're They've obviously, what is it? They've won 2, lost 1, I think.
Yeah.
Or we won 2, drew 1.
Well, I mean, they're sitting third. They're third in the table.
Yeah, 1, 2, draw 1. They haven't even lost
Yeah.
yet. So, you know, I mean, you know my thoughts on Leeds. I'm desperate to go down, but I think this season, I mean, under Ted Lasso, they look all right.
Yeah, I don't remember their first or second game a whole lot, but from watching that Chelsea game, they looked like they tactically played it very well. And as I said, sort of at the end of last season, I didn't know much about Jesse Marsh, and it was a little bit hard to criticise him or judge him just without knowing anything about him. But as an unknown, you always tend to err on the side of caution. So he seems to be possibly paying off a little bit.
They've got Brighton next, which at the moment is a bit of a European clash.
That's going to be a good game. They're playing for the Champions League spots. That's going to be a great game. That's going to be a really good game.
That'll be a really interesting game. It's also at Brighton, so it's not because the atmosphere at Leeds on the road sounded insane. Yeah, proper sounded pretty impressive. City Newcastle 3-3.
There was
what is this weekend? What was this weekend?
It was crazy.
This weekend was bonkers.
This was a very funny game because this was a game of, I would say a game of 2 halves. This was a game of about 60 minutes and 30 minutes. It was insane.
It was. I didn't see the whole game. I actually only saw from when Newcastle went 2-0 up. I saw Newcastle 2-0 up. I was like, "Oh crap! I'm gonna put this on." It was bizarre. The whole thing was bizarre. Newcastle looked really good. Man City looked all at sea, and then all of a sudden Newcastle scored their 3rd goal, and then they were like, oh, "Okay, let's play now." And I was like, "What?" I mean, sorry, but that pass from De Bruyne is one of the greatest passes I have seen.
Yeah.
He played it. I was literally like, take a bow. Like, even if he didn't score that, I was
it threaded like 3 people. Yeah, it was an outrageous pass. That's De Bruyne.
3. I'm sure it was about 6 players, 5 or 6 players. And he just cut straight through them. It was unbelievable. And Haaland was unlucky not to score when he was through 1-on-1. That was a brilliant pass as well. And he's just like, I don't know, City at the moment, even though they're not sitting at the top of the table, you all are. I still fancy they're just going to absolutely run away with this league.
They've shown how they've shown how powerful they are. They can just suddenly turn it on, score 2-3 goals, like just score 2 goals.
It's not like they did that against Everton or something like that. They did that against Newcastle, who are pushing for that top 8 finish at the moment.
I think they're going to run away with it. I still think Liverpool will probably be second. I just think they could be too good, but they've not really convinced me yet.
Well, I mean, so now we've gone 3 games in. So I think at the start of the season, I think I said City, Liverpool. I think I said Spurs or Chelsea. I think I had Arsenal.
You said Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal.
Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal. Did I say Arsenal top 5? I thought I might have actually said Arsenal finished outside of that. But so after 3 games, has your opinion changed on that top 5?
I don't think so. I think I had City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs. I think I still like that.
You think Chelsea will finish above Spurs?
I think Chelsea finished above Spurs. I think Arsenal could do both of them. I'm excited this year. It's the first time I've been excited in a long time. This is payment for watching centre back pairings of watching Kolasinac and Socrates start as centre back against City. This is payment. This is.
Whenever I hear that name, all I ever think of is Bill and Ted. Socrates, freaking Bill and Ted's Great Adventure. But no, I think Spurs look pretty strong. I mean, they've got this kind of like raw, determined nature now. And the Conte, they've got they're pretty like strong. They're not walkovers. They're not just pretty football. They feel like quite physical and quite gritty. Conte, by the way, just seems to be having fights with everyone. Doesn't matter.
He's overly passionate, that man, but he's an Italian football manager, so.
Well, it happened in the Wolves game, if I remember rightly, as well. Or was it? It was either that or it was the Chelsea game. I can't remember which. obviously he had the punch up with Tuchel, but then I'm pretty sure I can't remember if it was Tuchel or whether it was Conte, but they started scrapping again. I think it was Chelsea Leeds. Tuchel started scrapping with Jesse Marsh. It was just hilarious, absolutely ridiculous.
So funny.
Yeah, I mean the other kind of results from the weekend. Obviously, I'm gonna talk very, very, very quickly about Villa because it was just dross. Although,
you mean the very clear handball?
That handball. Oh my god! Honestly, like it's so frustrating. I just want consistency from VAR, man. Like, just be normal. Don't give stupid decisions like that. I'm just messaging my wife. She's just wondering where I am. Sorry. But yeah, it's like it just completely killed the game. We killed the game. We took the lead very early on, but stupidly 2 minutes later gave away silly, just sloppy goal. And then just giving them that second goal just knocked the stuffing out of us really. Bailey at the bar.
I did see that. That's not right.
Other than that, we just didn't look great, and we haven't looked great all 3 games so far.
Yeah. I think we should touch on it next week. Just a little bit more of a dive after your next game to see if this actually does look like a sort of tactical.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got West Ham at home.
And then after that game is Arsenal.
Oh, it's Arsenal and then Man City.
So we will.
It could quite easily be 1 win in 6 at the start of this season.
It starts to get a little bit warm there.
It starts to get a little bit scary. But let's get on to your lot then. Arsenal Bournemouth, pretty comprehensive.
Still looking.
Although I did see the game, but I heard second half Bournemouth were much better, and they were actually kind of in the ascendancy a little when you scored your third.
Came back a little bit. They did come back a little bit, but I mean, they never looked like they would beat us. I mean, it was 3-0. They sort of started to play a little bit better football in the first half, but they really weren't great in the first half. It was very much sort of all Arsenal one way in the first half, which only leaves room for improvement going into the second. And they did come out and look a little bit better, but it's just another strong performance. And right now, I couldn't care if it was 1-0, 3-0, 5-0. I just want the 3 points because the 3 points are so important right now, the maximum points. And we play Fulham next, then we play you, and then we play United. So if we can beat Fulham and then you, we go maximum points into United and have a tasty little lead on people. But it's exciting times.
Fulham are no walkover at the moment.
They're not at all. But I've got a ticket to that game. I'm going Saturday, so I'm quite excited for that one. First time at the Emirates this season.
We should try and get some footage for the next pod. Because I'm going on Sunday. You're going on Saturday.
Yeah.
There'll be a footage.
Yeah, I'll get some clips. 12 beers deep going. So I'm sitting on the Fulham bench going, come on in you.
Yeah. No, I think, because obviously Fulham beating Brentford as well. 93rd minute,
Mitrovic header. The place went crazy. Considering there's not that many fans there, that place went crazy.
I tell you what, Fulham, right? I don't know if you've ever been to Fulham, like the ground. It's grim. It's rubbish.
You hated, did you?
It's so. They have a neutral stand.
Yeah,
and like any team that's got a neutral stand, it's just like, what is going on here?
A neutral stand is quite crazy when you've got a capacity of like 10,000.
Yeah, exactly, right. I mean, I think it's 20,000 or 18,000 or something. I can't remember what it is, but it's I mean, you're quite close to the football, but it's everyone had like those clappers, those stupid little clapper things like to get an atmosphere. It's just atmosphere is not great, but I think any stadium at that stage in a game, scoring a winner against London rivals, against your kind of like local rivals.
Yeah, that's a fun one. That's a great one.
It's pretty impressive, to be fair. It was and Fulham have impressed me this season. I thought Fulham and Bournemouth were kind of like pretty certain to struggle. I thought, but Fulham have looked all right. They're unbeaten at the moment. They've got 2 draws.
Liverpool, draw to Wolves, and then beat Brentford.
Yeah. So I mean, who have they got next? They've got
Crawley tonight, and then Arsenal going Saturday.
Of course, Crawley tonight. The highs and lows of Premier League
That's it.
football.
I've just looked up Craven Cottage. It's 22,000 capacity, but the record attendance is 49,000
How does that work?
for a Millwall game in 1938. That is standing like sardines.
Yeah.
That is.
Jeez, that's insane, isn't it? No, it's yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I mean, like tonight, like you said, you talked about Crawley tonight. Like Villa have got Bolton in the cup tonight. That's going to be a banana skin, I think. I think he's probably going to play. I don't know if he'll play a weakened side, actually. I think he'll want to get the players into form. So he might.
Or it could be a chance to try some new guys out there that haven't been cutting it so far. Maybe there's
possibly. I think you'll probably see the likes of like Cameron Archer, on young lad. Obviously, we've kept him around. There's still rumours that he might be going. I'm not sure on loan. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see some of the fringe players. You're right. But I'd love to see just like Watkins or Ings up front, just bag a couple of goals, get firing.
Comfortable, just a comfortable win would be nice.
Comfortable win would be nice. It'd be good to see Bailey as well. Get a start and get a goal maybe. But it'll be interesting. Oh, hang on. The speak of the devil, the 11's just come out. So he's gone with Martinez in goal, Young, so left back, Chambers, Mings, Digne. To be honest, I don't know why he's not starting Callum Chambers. He keeps starting Konsa.
You said you prefer Chambers on the right.
I prefer Chambers. He's not put a foot wrong.
He might have got one more attack. Is Konsa more attacking?
No, not really. I wouldn't say so. No, Chambers has scored some crackers for us.
Yeah.
McGinn, Kamara, Douglas Luiz, Coutinho, Watkins, Ings. It's pretty much our starting 11.
Pretty much starting 11, yeah.
Pretty much. So it'll be interesting to see if they cut it. I mean, struggle for a result tonight with that team.
And then Bolton, you're going to be in concerning some rising waters. I think
my wife literally just said, it's quite funny because my wife sent to me and she said, literally, it's your starting 11, and then she put ... It's Bolton, which is quite funny.
They know they're in a dogfight tonight.
But anyway, so also from the weekend, new boys, Forest, Everton. Bit unlucky actually. I think 83rd minute Forest scored. It kind of felt like they'd wrapped it up, and then Everton go and score in like the 92nd or 93rd minute or something. It was.
Yeah, a late one in 88. It's a very late one.
It's a real shame, actually. Forest have looked good. I think they've looked like I think I said in the season preview. I said the key thing for Forest is they don't concede many. They defend well. They defend dogged, and they've got a good midfield. It's just goals. That I worry with them. And even the goal against Everton was like pretty, if I remember rightly, I'm getting merging games in my head, but a couple of their goals have been pretty scrappy, just kind of like just ending up in the net. And to be honest, I mean, they'll take them however they get them. But my biggest worry with them is they haven't really they signed Akoniwi, I think his name is, in the summer, and that was it up front. Lewis Graben went. He didn't sign a new contract. They've still got Sam Surridge. And he's all right, but he's unproven at this level. So, I worry for them striker wise. But they look.
I think
Dean Henderson, inspired signing that is.
Yeah, and that's what I was almost like about to come on to was one of the most important things for the newly promoted sides is not conceding, because the football gets so fast and it's a lot different to that championship football. So if they can keep the goals out and get some scrappy goals, they'll be all right. But they're definitely going to need something a bit more cutting up front if they want to be really comfortable. But the rumours are they're going in for another centre back. Apparently they want this Tottenham youngster. Is it Tanganga? Is it Tanganga?
Yes. Tanganga. Yeah, I think it's because there's been a lot of talk of Joe Worrell, who's one of their centre backs. They're basically saying he's not good enough for the Premier League. But I mean, speaking with father-in-law and stuff, and he probably isn't quite there. He needs to learn, but like he's not that old. He's
good development player. Keep him around. He's
a proper Nottingham Notts lad. He's proper local, and he's got that passion.
Fan favourite.
Yeah, he's captain as well. It's like you can't. I feel like they'll be a bit.
It's always tough when they're captain because you do really get that jump sometimes where some guys just don't cut it when they come to the Prem. Like it's evident. Yeah. And if he is one of them, it's always tough when he's your captain because he probably knows that as well. He probably knows that he can't quite cut it. So it's always a tough situation to be in. But you imagine if he's a Nottingham lad and he loves the team and all that kind of stuff. He's got
so much heart. Like the guy throws.
He's too upset about losing the captaincy if he's still kept around. Yeah. And you can put someone else in it. And he sounds like he could possibly hang around. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with Nottingham Forest. I think they're going to be fighting every single game for points, but I think they've got a very good chance of coming out a good number of games for points, as I said, sort of in the earlier podcast at the start of the season. Yeah, I mean, we saw them beat West Ham, which is a great one, and they will get some points. But yeah, you're right; they do need something more going forward.
What's going on with West Ham? Are they in a? I mean, you called it. I think you called it pre-season. And you said you think they're not going to be all that this season. They're 3 losses out of 3. I don't think they've scored. Conceded.
No, they haven't.
I mean, don't worry, because they will at the weekend against us. So, I'm sure they'll bag 3 points. So don't worry about that. But yeah, what's going on with West Ham? Like, I don't think they really signed anyone, did they? In the summer,
I haven't watched many of their games, but from what I've seen, sort of in the limited clips I've had, they've just looked lost. I don't know. It's almost one of them ones where you sometimes watch a game and you're like the players don't look like they've been told where to go or what to do. They're kind of like moving around a little bit without intent, and it's just.
I think there still might be a bit of. I think from last season, I think since they lost that was it Europa Conference or Europa League final? I think it was a conference final. Yeah. Since then, they've just not really kicked on. Since they lost that game, it feels like they built that up so much. And just that loss has massively knocked them.
Yeah, I mean, what's concerning is they've brought in 2 centre-backs. They've just signed a right-back today. Just signed a right-back. They signed Emerson Palmieri from Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
They've done 2 centre-backs and they haven't looked good at all at the back yet. I don't know if there's some adjusting to that. I don't know if they've played as a pair yet or if they've only played individually so far. But a new keeper, 2 new centre-backs, and you're still conceding and losing to teams who you should be beating is always going to be a red flag.
It does take time, right? When you've got a centre-back pairing, a new centre-back pairing, or a new back line, and a new keeper as well. If you've got those 2 centre-backs and a new keeper, that's always going to spell trouble. But it's just a very, very weird one with West Ham at the moment. Like I said, I'm sure they'll get their season off this Sunday, but we'll have to see how they get on. From the weekend, what do you think? Any interesting upsets? There's no big hitters, is there? I'm not like looking at these fixtures and thinking something's screaming out to me, if I'm honest.
The big one was Leeds in terms of is in this week coming up. Sorry.
Yeah, this weekend coming up. Yeah, in terms of like, there's not really massive fixtures screaming out at me.
I think City are very strong, but Palace look good. Vieira's got playing some good football. He did last year. At the end of last year, looked good, and they've looked good to start this year. So don't write Palace off, even to nick a draw or something there possibly. City have shown that they can concede this year. So if teams can score again, the concern is they're going to score more than you, but they will lead the goals. So if you can hang on for a point or 2, you might be able to get something there. I don't think Arsenal can go into Fulham with any sort of relaxed feel because I think Fulham are going to bring a good fight to the Emirates. I think that's going to be a tough one. I think Spurs will probably do Forest, as much as I'd like to say Forest do Spurs.
I think Forest at home are quite a tough proposition. I wouldn't completely write off a draw, but I think Forest need to play well to get a result there. Man U Southampton's gonna be fascinating. I just want to see how Man U do after that Liverpool game, whether it really spurs.
The season starts now, right? Yeah,
exactly. They've had their 3-game pre-season. Now they need to
go time now.
They're kind of the main games that I think are just kind of nothing's really screaming out at me. Brentford Everton, that's a dire game.
A dire game. Liverpool Bournemouth is probably going to be a whitewash.
Brighton Leeds is going to be interesting as well.
Brighton Leeds is going to be a fantastic game. Definitely going to try and watch that one.
Yeah. Get down.
Fulham's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a whole lot's going to be up to me. I think Villa West Ham's going to be a good game because both teams need a result. Both teams need a result, so you could
be drab, mate. It's going to be drab. Two teams that cannot score. It's going to be drab. I guarantee. I'm calling a
0-0.
I'm backing a 0-0 on that, especially with me there. Whenever I'm there, it just all goes to pot.
Right, well, if you want to do an acca then, because I'm going to Arsenal Fulham, back Fulham to beat Arsenal and Villa 0-0 because it's guaranteed to happen.
We'll let everyone know how it goes next week. Well, it's so funny because Jess put a 5-0 on Liverpool beating Man U. And like within 10 minutes, I was like, "Your bet's off." It's pretty funny. But yeah, no, I think so. I think that's all we've got time for really today. I think we'll be back hopefully next week. Every Tuesday we're looking to try and do this. We've been a bit lapsed the last couple of Tuesdays, but I think we've got everything in order now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday. We'll have obviously the highlights from the weekend, and we'll be having a look at the upcoming week's fixtures. So take it easy. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you loved it, give it a sub, and we'll catch you next time.
See you.
Bye.